Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is your host BitExpert, and today we are going to see how to implement Inter-vlan routing on a multi-layer switch. So right now, as you can see, I have the topology in front of me. I have here switch 1, and also we can see that we have two PCs here, PC1 and PC2. So the task is given here. We have to create VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 on switch 1. We have to assign VLAN 10 on 192.168.1.0/24 subnet, and VLAN 20 will be on 192.168.2.0/24 subnet. So as per this task, we need to assign Ethernet 0/0 in VLAN 10 and Ethernet 0/1 in VLAN 20. And at the end, we are going to configure Inter-vlan routing on the multi-layer switch. So let's get started. So as per this lab, first thing I will do is I am going to select my devices and I will right click and I am going to start the devices. So I can just click on the start button here. When I click on start, it will start all the devices at once. So you can right click here on the switch and click on console. So when I click on console, it is going to open secure CRT here. As you can see, secure CRT has opened. Now what I am going to do is I am going to start configuring my VLANs. So I will create my VLANs here. So the first thing we will do is we will get into the global configuration mode, and I am going to change the host name to switch 1, and I will create VLAN 10. I'm going to give a name as, let's say, IT. Exit back, VLAN 20, and I will assign a name as sales. I'm going to exit back, again exit back, going back to my privilege mode, show VLAN brief. As you can see, my VLAN 10 and 20 is created. So my first task is completed, that I have created VLAN 10 and 20 on switch 1. So you can see here VLAN 10 is created and VLAN 20 is also created. So now I have to assign Ethernet 0/0 in VLAN 10. So I will get into my global configuration mode. For that, I will select the interface Ethernet 0/0. I have entered the interface configuration mode now. So the first command will be switch port mode access. So what this command does is that it tells the switch that this port is configured as an access port, which means that this particular port is connected to an end device, where in this case, in our scenario, as you can see, this is connected to a PC. So that is why it is configured as an access port. So press enter. After that, the next command is switch port access VLAN 10. So again, you're telling your switch that this particular port belongs to VLAN 10. As we have seen in the above output, that all our ports are by default in VLAN 1. So they are the members of VLAN 1. So we have to assign Ethernet 0/0 in VLAN 10. So this command is going to tell the switch to move Ethernet 0/0 from VLAN 1 to VLAN 10. So press enter, and then another command which you can run is spanning tree port fast. So you can enable the port fast feature on this interface so that you don't have to face any sort of delay. I'll exit back, and then again we will say interface Ethernet 0/1 switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 20. So spanning tree port fast, again I'm going to enable port fast here as well. Exit back, again exit back, show VLAN brief. Right now you can see that Ethernet 0/0 is in VLAN 10 and Ethernet 0/1 is moved to VLAN 20. So our second task is also completed. Now currently I will go back to my PC1 here and I will click on console. When I click on console, I will assign an IP address here. So I will say IP and just put a question mark here just to see How do we assign an IP address here? If you want to know how to assign it, just put a question mark. So IP address followed by the IP address, and then we have the slash value and the gateway. So here is the example which is given how to assign an IP. So example is IP followed by the IP address, slash value and the gateway. So what I'm going to do is I'll say IP 192.168.1.2, and I'm going to put my slash value as /24, and my gateway is going to be 192.168.1.1. So checking for duplicate address. As you can see that it didn't find any duplicate address, so it has assigned 1.2 as the IP address to the PC. And I'll follow the same steps. Right click and console on the second PC, and I will say IP 192.168.2.2/24 followed by my gateway 2.1, and again it is checking for duplicate address, so it has successfully assigned this IP to PC2. Moving back to my switch, now as you can see here I don't have a router, so our task is to configure Inter-vlan routing on the multi-layer switch. So this is a layer 3 switch. I can enable routing by simply configuring one command, which I will say IP routing. When I run this command, it is going to enable the routing feature on this multi-layer switch. Now, as you know that we don't have the gateway right now, but I have already configured my gateway as 1.1 and 2.1, right? So for VLAN 10, 1.1 is the gateway, and for VLAN 20, 2.1 is going to be the gateway. So for this, on this switch, what we will do is we will be creating our switch virtual interfaces. So I will say interface VLAN 10. So basically what I'm doing here is that I'm creating a switch virtual interface, and I'm going to assign an IP address on the switch virtual interface, which is going to act as my gateway. So 192.168.1.1, 255.255.255.0, and then I will say no shutdown, exit back. As you can see, the interface status is up. The same thing I will repeat it for VLAN 20, interface VLAN 20, and I'll assign an IP address here 192.168.2.1. So here basically our switch virtual interfaces are acting as the gateway. So whatever is the IP address on our switch virtual interface, that is going to act as a gateway for us. So I have already configured the IP address, show IP interface brief. Just for verification, you can see that my VLAN 10 interface and VLAN 20 interface is also up. So you can see the status is up and the protocol is up. For verification, I will go back to one of my PCs here, and I am going to ping my gateway. So I'll say ping 192.168.1.1. So hopefully we will get a reply. You can see that we are getting a successful reply. So again I will try to ping the other gateway, which is 2.1, and yes, I am getting a reply from here as well. Now the next thing what we will do is we will try to ping 192.168.2.2, that is PC2 here, just to see if the Inter-vlan routing is working or not. So yes, it is working. So as you can see that our switch virtual interfaces are created on the multi-layer switch, which will act as a gateway for us. So let me quickly list down the commands for you here one more time. First thing we did is created the VLANs. So I entered the global configuration mode and I said VLAN 10. I assigned a name to it. Name was, I believe, IT. Exit back, VLAN 20. Assign a name, sales, and then exit back. For verification, come back to your privilege mode. Always verify your commands. Whatever you're configuring, you need to verify it. So show VLAN brief, and you will verify your VLANs by running that command. You should be able to see VLAN 10 and 20 in the list of available VLANs. Now the next step is to assign your interfaces in the specific VLANs. For that, config t interface Ethernet 0/0 switch port mode access, which will configure this port as an access port. Switch port access VLAN 10. So this is going to move Ethernet 0/0 in VLAN 10. And another command which I implemented was spanning tree port fast. Okay, so port fast. All right, now what I'll do is I'll quickly copy this here so that I don't have to type it all over again. I will just copy this here, and I'm just going to copy this. How do I copy it? Okay, select, let me just select this. Okay, 1 second, let me just click here. All right, okay, so it has entered another one. Okay, so I'll just type it again, no issues. So let me just type it for you, no problem. So what I will do is I'll say interface Ethernet 0/1 and then switch port mode access and switch port access VLAN 20. So by doing this, I have moved this interface to VLAN 20. So this is the next command. Again, for verification, you will run the same command show VLAN brief to verify the output. And our last step is to configure the inter-VLAN routing. So the very important command here, okay, very important, is to enable IP routing. Enable IP routing, very important. So for enabling that, enter the global configuration mode and write one small command, IP routing. That's it. So this is going to enable the routing feature on your multi-layer switch. The next step is you will go to the interface VLAN 10, assign an IP address. This is your switch virtual interface. So you'll assign an IP address here, 1.1, which is going to act as a gateway for the users which are in VLAN 10, and just say no shutdown. The same steps will follow. Interface VLAN 20, IP address 192.168.2.1.255.255.255.0. No shutdown. For verification, you can also run a command like show IP route and show IP interface brief, and you will go to your PCs and ping the gateway first and then ping the next PC which is in the other VLAN. So I hope this video has been informative for you, and I would like to thank you for viewing.